Hang on.
Do you know the bit where I said it was like a document which had all the timings on
Yeah.
there? Is that not a good
Yeah.
place to add where the logs are?
Yeah. Okay.
Good do. I need to adjust some of the timings. I was chatting with Phil about this morning.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, I need to be on. All right, I'll show this first. So, where are we? Fuck.
Right, if the pull wander in the Prince's folder at the top level, Phil.
Yeah.
But the refreshes ones after that are separate.
Gotcha.
Just because you're doing pulls for both at the same time.
Yeah.
For prod and UAT, but they cover both manufacturing and trading. So I kept it separate. But if that doesn't make sense, we can move them into the other folder.
Okay, no, that's fine, mate. I wasn't sure whether. Okay, cool. So, problem that we had, and this is, I'm not going to go into too much detail now, but basically, Andy, for whatever reason, was running ESRM extract programs at 530, which was going onto the ESRM folder. And I just presumed that when we were connecting to SFTP, we were connecting directly to that. We weren't. We were connecting to something else, and that something else was being refreshed at 9:30, or the refresh kick started at 9:30. So for some reason, the text files weren't coming in until 3:20. So we were refreshing all the PO data fine because that was coming in just before midnight. But the PO text data was coming in afterwards, so that was what the problem was today. And obviously, Esme's like, "Oh, this new system's not working," and it's like, well, no. So Andy's killing off the 530 programs that generate the current ESRM data and replacing them with the new programs, which generates exactly the same set of data. And I don't know why he was doing it twice anyway, but he's moving that to 530, so everything should now finish in time before midnight. And we start picking up things at just after midnight. Obviously, there's a bit of wiggle room on this, so we'll see it. He's going to change the timings over to tonight, so we'll know in the morning whether this is working properly or not. But we start looking for the data at midnight. We've had Dave. You're probably not aware of some of this stuff, so. What we've experienced is that sometimes that initial pull doesn't work. It times out or whatever. So what we've got is, if I just go to the program here, try and find that. Sorry. Line pull.
Yeah, that's what you do it. Princes, there you go. Data
Scripts.
You didn't have to check the schedule task. I could have told you.
Sorry.
Not that I've looked at this a lot.
Right. So which one is it? Pull that one.
Yeah, I'm thinking it might be
prod get files from SF.
It might be nice to put these into separate folders so we've got prod and UAT separate, so we don't accidentally click the wrong one at any point.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll look at that.
So this is the batch file that runs to pull the prod data. Okay.
Okay.
It's using a WinSCP, which is basically an SFTP program that can be run from a command prompt, and it basically runs a script, which is that, and that lives on here as well. Prod pull SFTP script. Prod pull SFTP script, that one. And what it basically does is it uses some security, which is pretty cool. It's like an SSL certificate, which we've converted to a PPK file, and it uses that to connect to, that's the SFTP server address that they've set up for us. And it basically connects, changes directory to these three folders. So out PFTC, out PBV, out PSTG, and then gets all the text files from those three folders and puts them into our local F file folder. Okay. Now, for whatever reason, if that fails, right, which has been happening every now and again,
Happened last night.
it did it last night. Okay,
I think
what
so.
what we've got is this little bit of funky code that runs after it, which checks the error level of the previous program. If the error level means it's failed, it kicks in this here, which so if the result is 0, so there's no errors, it goes fine, and it echoes an SFTP OK to our log file, which I'll show you in a second. If it fails for whatever reason, we create this file called prod error reentry file, retry file, sorry. So if I go back to the scheduled tasks, there is a repull scheduled task, which kicks in at 12:30 and repeats itself every 30 minutes until 2:30 in the morning, which is probably as late as we can go before the actual refresh scripts kick in, which I think is about 3-ish. I'll check in a sec. So what it does is that batch file there checks the existence of this prod error file, which will only exist if the previous pull failed for whatever reason. It checks for that file, and if that file exists, it then tries another pull, and it repeats that every 30 minutes. So the idea being here is that we get at least, I don't know, how many goes is that? 30 minutes, 2.5 hours. 5, 6, 5.
In that
flag
repull, Phil,
yes,
because I didn't look at it, if it succeeds on the first attempt at retrying, does it continue to do the rest?
So if we get at any point, if we get an error level 0, it deletes that prod retry file. So the scheduled task will run, but because that file doesn't exist, it'll just skip past it.
Right, excellent.
Okay.
Which is, if I look at the actions on the thing, we've got a repull on error. In fact, that's UAT. Repull on error prod from F. So that one is this program here. And basically, if that file doesn't exist, nothing to do, skips past it. If that file does exist, it has another goal, basically.
Terrific.
Okay. So, if we look at the pull log file, it is a bit messy in here, as you rightly said, Gary. Where the fuck is it? Log file. Is it that one?
It's the summary one, yeah. Prod SFTP summary, yeah.
Right. So this is building away. So you're right, Gary. It did fail last night at the first attempt. Sorry, it ran, errored, created the retry file, and then the next time it ran, which was at 20 past, it worked. So yeah. So
Bless you.
Bless you. So that's that process. And we don't know why it fails. We blamed the SFTP server, and the SFTP server, this Lemonade group or whatever it's called, blamed
We
us.
disconnected.
Yeah, which is lies. But anyway, it's pointless arguing about that. But it's working. So you can see, some days it's just fine. Sorry, that one. From that point onwards, so for those continuous days, we ran no problems at all, and then randomly get an error, and it reran at the second attempt, and then these all days are fine, apart from last night for whatever reason. I don't know. Anyway, the process is working with an attempt, then a repull, then a repull if needs be. It looks like we've never had to go to a second repull by the looks of things. It fails and it works on the second attempt. But that's okay. So, and we have, what we've got is 2 log files, one for the last run, which is quite complex. It basically tells you exactly what it did with regards to connecting to the SFTP server. Wouldn't worry about that. And then the summary file.
I looked at it, I didn't understand a thing.
I wouldn't worry about it. The summary files are a good one to look at. So for what that does then is, if we look at the data and 303, So what it does is it pulls the data into these folders. Have we not got a done folder for this one? Oh, yeah,
We have, yeah. It should have moved it. Don't know why it didn't.
Okay, it's one.
Check the refresh script, because it might be that I've made a mistake in the batch file.
This one?
Yeah. It was working on the UATs.
Don't know. Looks all right.
I mean, it's the same. Just go to the top and see how I've set the base FTP things right.
No.
Ah. Well, that'll explain that one.
Yeah. We'll change that then.
Yes, please. Well, the top one should be right, but the second one's going to be wrong. So I bet if you go back to the actual data directories, I bet it's moved the one from BV. Is it? From PFTC, but the BV one's going to be still.
Is that what I checked?
Just go back to the data directories a second. Out PBV. Right, so that's all in there. What's in the out PFTC?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's moved that one. Because I've got that
PBV.
one correct, but then I've done the wrong. I haven't updated the next one.
Okay. Well, I'll leave that. I want to change it now.
I'll sort it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, what it does and highlights what's actually happening then. So initially, it puts the files into the out PBV folder. So these are all the files from last night. And then there is a refresh script that runs here. So that one's running. So the 304 is running at 5:45, and 303 is running at 5 o'clock. And then that's that batch file that we've just looked at. So it then processes those text files that are in the folder here. And then once it's finished, it moves the files out of there and puts them into done. So we've got a previous night's kind of set of files to go back to if you need to. So that's all pretty standard. And then that generates the updates the database, and everything should be done by, I don't know how long it takes, Gary. Half an hour, 40 minutes. Everything should be done by 6 o'clock.
Yeah, it's a lot quicker than on their live server. On their old live server. So
yeah, cool. Okay.
Gary, is it going to do what we did on the previous system, where we sent the emails to support to see if these have run, etc.?
So currently, no. You had 4 emails daily.
That's right, yeah.
For the reminders for both systems, cancelled orders for trading and new and changed alerts for trading. But you also there was an admin alerts one.
Yes.
That came out. That's not present on this new version.
Okay.
But I'd be interested to know what you used the admin alerts for, because if it's useful in any way, we can recreate it.
Okay.
Yeah, that was an entirely separate thing that didn't exist in like our new Thanos world. But I can copy the page across from their server and adapt it. But it's got like a lot of old stuff in there as well, and I don't know what you use. So maybe me and you have a chat about what's going to help you.
Yeah, I'll give you a call on that one. Yeah.
Just wondering what's a good place to check then, Gary, on a morning for Dave.
So
the refresh log.
That's what I've been doing for the free. I've been checking the previous time the files come in the pull. This was on the obviously UAT, and then I was checking the refresh log to make sure it's finished without an error.
So this is the thing. I'm thinking that we don't just do what we did before on printers. We sort of do an email that's actually helpful. Because even then, if someone else is picking it up, if the email says, right, the job's ran, just check this log to make sure there are no errors, that the actual alert to say it's ran gives you the instructions on what to check, potentially. But I can talk to Dave about, what is going to be a good prompt for him, and then whatever works for him should work for everyone else. That's what I'm thinking anyway.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we've got the tools, haven't we? So let's, if we can generate a good email to Dave, that will be good.
Yeah, I mean, we can just send it to the support, because then I've even got access to it as well. But so then if Dave's on holiday or just not available, someone else can pick it up.
Okay, cool. Okay, so log files that we need to keep an eye on, that's going to build. The refresh full is one, because that's just going to get appended to every single day, and that's just going to build and build.
Just to stop you on that, Phil, what I'm thinking is on the 83 part of the refresh batch file, we, rather than put it to refresh full, we put it out to a daily log.
Yeah.
So I said this is the log for the first of the month, second of the month, third of the month, and then once you loop around to the next month, it overwrites. So you basically have a month worth of logs kept.
Okay.
So if we're okay with that, I think I'll put that in place for this.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably overkill, mate, to be fair.
Yeah, but
it's nice having to go back three weeks to see what happened. But yeah, okay.
Yeah, well, it's just we could do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday potentially. And then have a 7-day cycle.
Yeah, okay.
Right, right.
I don't know how far we need to go back. What's everyone's thoughts?
A week?
Probably not more than a couple of days normally, but I mean, a week would be fine. I just know that we've got the code in place on 83 to do it like for a month, because we call it log 31 and then go back to log 1, 2, 3 and then carry on. So long as we keep it tidy, no more than a month it's overkill, but it's tidy at least. Okay, mate.
Can I leave that as an action on you then, please?
Yeah, I've got a few actions on this to get things tidy. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you. So that'll be. I'm guessing that because all the UATs are running 90 as well.
Yeah.
So
they're gonna get big.
Yeah. That's what. Yeah. Okay. So that'll be the same. So that's the overnight refreshers. So some action points on Gary there, but that's all pretty standard. I think the only issue that we've experienced is that timeout on the poll, but it looks like we're getting it second time around. Okay, so I don't think we've had any problems, touchwood, on that for a while. But want to keep an eye open in the future. Okay, so that's that. Then we've got incoming XML changes for new orders and changes to orders, and I can't remember which business this is. Is this trading?
It's manufacturing. Yeah, the 50-50 chance when you got it wrong.
Okay. So now let's try to remember where the fuck these are. So it's manufacturing, Gary.
Yes, and it's in XML folder.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so there's already fuck tons of these. This is down to me. I'm not even happy with the file naming, to be fair. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking, but there you go. So every time that manufacturing raise a PO or change a PO, we get the real-time feed coming through. That's all working, as you can see. For each one, I'm generating 2 files. One is the actual XML that we got sent through from SAP, and that's the actual content of the data that we got sent. You can see that.
Yep.
And then once we receive that, I'm generating a log file with what we actually did with that thing. So this is quite useful, I guess, in that it's got the insert commands in there for every single table that was picked up in that XML. So if we ever needed to rerun a specific XML document through, or see why an XML document didn't process, it's useful to have, I think, in that for example, if there was a special character that didn't work, or they put a line feed into all that kind of shit that we sometimes have to deal with, that'll get picked up in this particular log. It's massive overkill in that for every single transaction, I'm pumping out a log file for it. And I think moving forward, that might be too much. But yeah, 2 files for every single PO creation or PO change, source data, and what we did with it. And that's just going to build as well. As you can see, that's just today.
What we need to do there is just after midnight, we take everything in that folder, zip it up into a daily folder with the date on to say this is what we got that day.
Cool.
And then even those will build up as zip files. I think if we keep 3 months worth of, because no one's going to go back more than 3 months on an old XML change. It would be pretty weird if they did. And then I think what we do is we just check for any zip files that were created more than 3 months ago and delete.
Yeah. I mean, we've got to remember that the zip, whatever we process through here anyway, gets overwritten overnight, isn't it?
On the overnight refresh. The
overnight refresh kind of overwrites all this anyway. So it's just, But again, one for you, Gary. Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's fine. I know I've got all this to do.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, it's working, which is the main thing. It might be worth. I'll do a couple of spot checks on some of these just to make sure. So what's happening is the XML file gets sent to us. It's not really a file, but I'll call it a file, which is this message. We save it out to here to say that we've processed it. This log file gets generated, and what we're doing is we're inserting into these XML feed tables, and then we have a batch script, Gary, that runs, I'm presuming. This one? No, this one.
Yeah. No, it's not in there, is it? You set it up as a...
Oh, I said it was a batch file.
As a batch file?
Yes, I did. I did. Okay. So let me just drop off here and go on to admin land. Yeah. Because you only see it on 16 admin. Yeah, it was a scheduled task, wasn't it? And then we couldn't see it running or what it was doing or whether it was still running. So we split it out. Let's close this down. Done. So it's one of these. I'd imagine it's probably one at the end.
Yes. Yeah.
Is that one? There you go. So what this does is it's a batch file that checks the timestamp of the server. If it's after 8 a.m. and before 5:30 at night, it will pick up the contents of those XML feed tables and convert them to actual data, PO, purchase stock details, purchase stock headers, vendors, kind of shit, level from those tables. If it's before 8 or after 7:30, it just ignores it.
Yeah. Should this automatically kick in? Because I know when we were doing it for the UAT, I had to keep restarting it when I logged on. But should this
that was the
is that the idea?
That was sending the IDOCs back to SAP and restart.
Okay.
Yeah. This is also on a Saturday when I reboot the server.
Yeah.
I've got a batch file on F drive called launch to dos, and it's part of that script. There's actually 3 in there, mate. So what I do is before I restart the server on a Saturday, I close all these down once they're at a waiting for close them all down, and then reboot the server after applying the updates, and then I run. The first thing I do when the server's back up is run that batch script, and it relaunches all these fuckers.
Yeah. Super. So for that particular one, of course, in the incoming XML iDocs, it's basically the same SQL script. So it does 20 at a time, But what we need to do, Dave, is you used to get an alert to see if the queue was building, and I can't remember which part on Princes used to generate that. So I need to find that today. Again, it's all part of this, like, tidy up and make sure everything's working as it should. And if it's not getting generated out of any of the XML routines, then I need to create one just to check the queue and send a warning if it's building up. Because otherwise, at the moment, you might not know.
Yeah, true. Okay, mate.
Okay.
Again, all on me.
Right. So then what we've also got is the fuck is it? That one. We've got another batch file out. Fuck me. What? This is why I can't work on.
You never go on at the half hour or the hour. It's the most annoying thing in the world.
I know.
Oh, God. So, oh Jesus. I'm going to have to just click on it. I hate clicking on these because sometimes it pauses them.
It stops them, doesn't it? I know.
Yeah. Let me just get. Oh, fuck off. Anyway, I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to click on it just in case. But you see briefly. So this is on a 5-minute loop, and this is basically sending any idocs and can codes files back to their SFTP server, and also processing. And I'll show you the batch file that runs now. So I'll come off here. So there's 3 batch files running on here now. If I just go back onto here, there's the processing XML for anything that's coming in for 302 and another one for 304. So that's the one that runs only between 8 a.m. and 5:30 and processes at any
incoming changes,
incoming XML, new POs, and changes to POs. That's those 2 batch files. And then we've got a new one which I created last night called Process iDocs, and I'm just going to
maybe that. Was it worth maybe renaming that as like outgoing, just so that it's clear?
Yes. I don't do it at the moment, but yes. Yes.
Just I know there's constant confusion between trading and manufacturing. In iDocs and XMLs, is it in or is it out?
Yeah.
I've tied myself in not so many times. I'm just trying to make it as obvious as possible.
Let me get back onto my safe place here. Good. Right. Fuck, it didn't save. Bastard fucking path. Oops. What was it? Where was it? What am I doing?
Why did I come in this room?
Yeah. Is it one of these? Push.
There should be a push.
There's a push. There we go. Push. Push files. That's it. Fucking hell. I hope everyone's following this. I'm losing myself now. Right. So this is push. What does this do? And just get I think this pushes the can codes. Push scripts. There it is.
Look for any .text files.
Yeah. There you go. 303. Does that sound about right, Gary?
303 is trading, yeah. And they're the ones that do manufacturing is starting to do shipping notifications now, but 303 are the main ones trading.
This is Claire, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, right. If I go over here, then 303. Great. Okay. So, and there was one there from this morning. So, what this script does is whenever Claire creates or accepts a shipping confirmation in I2B, it basically creates 3 files. There's a daily can code file, there is an individual CAN code file for that particular PO, which we're generating and sending over, but I don't think anything happens with it.
They're not doing anything with it, and unless when we talk to Andy, he can start doing some with it. I suggest we stop it.
Right, cool. And then there's the actual IDOC, which we send back. So it generates three things, and this batch file is basically processing those files back to the SFTP server.
What is it that actually transfers because we don't just drop the file for the IDOC, do we? We do for the CAN code, but weren't you doing some cleverer shit with the actual IDOC?
There is some cleverer shit. You're quite right. It's this file that we were running. Sorry. There we go. Here we are. Yes, and the cleverer shit is this 303. So fuck, I don't even know. Fucking hell. Right. So
Dave, you've got no chance, mate.
Yeah.
If Phil doesn't know and I don't know, good luck.
So Gary on 75, there's an app which I've called Soap Client, right?
Yeah.
So this is based on all the settings that Andy gave us, right? And what it basically does is, if I just look at one of these, this is the one that we had running. I was just running as an individual one. So whenever Claire says, "Oh, it's there," I was just running this. But that process IDOCs that there does this, and that's the one that's running on 16,
right?
In admin. But if you ever wanted to run them manually, there's two. There's a process IDOC CC 303 and 304. These aren't running now. You can just be run on demand. So it gives you a bit of usage on what the parameters are for it for the app I wrote, and these are all the things that we need to send it over. So this is the web dispatcher address that Andy's given us, and basically what this does is it sends that file contents as a post to this web dispatcher. So it means it's more real time, kind of, or we could make it more real time. We could actually build this into the code itself. So rather than creating a file and sending it manually afterwards, we could in effect actually run it as part of Thanos itself. What it does is it's got various variables. The only thing actually that changed from switching from UAT to live was that one string. The UAT had like test web dispatcher or something like that, and this is the live one. And what it basically does is for every single file with the word web service in it. So if I go to 303, done again. So anything with the word web service in it, which are these three files, it picks them up and does a call of our app, which we've called Soap Client, and it passes these parameters to it and puts it out to a log file. And if I look at that, should be a 303 log file from this morning, which there is. And again, it's good as well. So for every shipping confirmation accepts that Claire does, it creates a web service file, and then this batch job that's running on 16 admin will process this every 5 minutes and update this log. And if we get an OK response 200, which is the web dispatcher response 200 means it's processed OK. When we get a response 200, we move the web service file to done. Yeah, please silence.
Yep.
Okay.
So, right. Summarize that. Claire goes in, accepts a shipping confirmation. it creates 3 files. I'll go into the dump file, which are these.
Yep.
One's got the word web service in it. The other ones are CAN code files. The CAN code files get sent via WinSCP to their in folder. We then have that batch file that's running that scans for the word web service, and that's the one that it sends to the web dispatcher, and we get that 200 response, not an error, 200 response back saying okay.
Right,
and
so I'm slightly missing which batch job is doing which, because there's 2 different things happening there, isn't there?
It's this one here, mate. So this is your one. Ignore these 2, because these are the ones I was just running manually as part. So it's basically process idocs.bat, which is what's
Right.
running.
Yeah, cool. I can see it in there. Web
which
service for twice. Yeah.
Yeah. So it basically goes, and this is what you can see running on 16 admin. And it's basically, it's got to start. Do not close this window, and that's the message that will appear on that app that's running on admin. And it basically does the 3 things. It does the 303
Web
sort
service
of client call. Yep. 304 web service files. And then it does the push of the CAN codes.
Which one?
Currently only 3 or whatever's in the script, which is prod push SFTB script.
Right, so we're not sending UAT CAN codes across.
No,
which is fine, because at the moment we don't need to. But at some point, if they ever decide to test anything on there, then we might. So
yes, correct. We're not doing that at the moment. We could do, but we're not.
Yeah, that's cool. That's fine.
Which is 303, isn't it? Yeah. And that
303 is production. 143 is
correct. Yeah.
UAT.
Yeah, that's all. We're just doing 303 at the moment. That makes sense. Okay, cool. And then it moves them off to a done folder once we get an okay. And then that just rinse and repeats every 300 seconds. So if you ever wanted to increase the frequency on that, you'd have to kill off the app on 16 admin, change this bat file to, maybe run every 60 seconds or whatever. But it depends if Claire complains. I don't think she will, because
it's going to be quicker than it was anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the files going back currently, CAN codes, shipping confirmations. And we've talked about the files incoming, the overnight refresh. We've talked about the live feed being processed through the process XML. I think that's it.
Yeah. So the only thing to add to that is that the typical process we have for the refreshes is that we then run the email alerts straight after.
Yeah.
That wasn't happening for Prince's trading, because we'd run the refresh just after midnight. We'd then have cancelled alerts that went out at 5. And I was having this chat with Phil this morning, is that it would send out the cancelled alerts, but then it would also include the cancelled alerts in the regular new and changed alerts an hour later at 6 a.m. Right. The only reason I think that it was doing that is that it would, when you get a list of new and changed, you'll have this is new, this is changed, this is new, this is changed. And then the cancels probably might get hidden in there if there was a lot of things going on. So I suspect we've done it as a separate routine, so the cancelled stood out. So I need to change that today to stop us running the alerts straight after the trading refresh, and then run it, then do the cancelled, then do the new and changed alerts. So I'll do that today. It might mean pulling the refresh forward a bit, Phil.
Okay.
It's currently at about 5 o'clock for the refresh. I think if we pull it forward to 4, still give us plenty of time for the data. Chance to run it, and then we'll run the cancels about 5:30 and the new and changed at 6, and then we should be good.
Okay.
And then for the XML stuff, we just have an hourly email routine that runs from 7:30 until about 9 o'clock at night or something. And that just loops through all through the day, looking for anything to send out for manufacturing side. And deathly silence.
No, all good.
So, Dave, I know it's a lot.
Yeah.
I'm around on the mornings, so if you're not sure, just ask me. I'm going to tidy up the logs and stuff, make it more manageable, so they don't like overwhelm us.
Yeah, I know we spoke about it settling down for the next couple of days, and then getting a plan together. But yeah, I'll probably be best going through with you on a call, Gary, and we'll tick some of these off, mate. If that's okay with you.
No, absolutely fine. I've got some work to do today in tidying up some of the logs, make sure we're archived stuff off.
Yeah.
And we'll come up between us with some notes. But like I say, if there's any alerts that we're generating, like the Q alert from Princes,
yes,
anything that you were getting and using that was helpful.
Yeah, that was one of them. Yeah.
We'll talk through it and we'll make sure that is happening again.
Okay, mate. That's a good one. Yeah.
It's. I mean, I think we're probably overkilling it as we tend to do on the logs.